All right, Jason Crawford here from WPRoundtable.com, and today we are discussing themes. Kyle's going to cover what themes are and how they're used, and everybody's going to kind of go into what's important to them on them and what themes they use. So, first off, we've got a couple of new guys on the team. Let's talk Nathan. Why don't you go first?
Hi, everybody. I'm Nathan Driver. I'm actually a digital media strategist / web developer for a local agency here in Dayton, Ohio called the Allman Group. So I do everything from creating a strategy to actually developing themes for clients.
Excellent. Brian, you want to kick in?
Yeah, sure. I'm Brian Redder. I'm a web developer, mainly working in WordPress, another PHP framework here. Do a lot of custom theming, so today's conversation I'm really excited about getting into.
Awesome. Kellen.
Great. My name's Kellen Mace. I'm just a freelance web developer from the east side of Michigan. That's all I have. Glad to be here today.
All right, Kyle, run with it.
All right, I'm Kyle Maurer. I am the owner of Beats by Dre, and I'm just here for the kicks, having fun, talking WordPress. And actually, I'm the lead developer for Real Big Marketing, based in Jackson, Michigan. And this is a great topic today. We're going to talk about themes a little bit. So, let me just dive in, Jason.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, WordPress themes. This is an important topic. Anybody getting into a WordPress site, it's one of the first questions you're going to have to answer is what theme I'm going to use. I'm going to manage the design of my site, which is what the theme controls. And so the WordPress theme is what dictates the front-end design of your WordPress website. It consists of PHP templates that will contain the markup and the structure of your web pages. It'll also contain your style sheets that dictate how the structure is designed, how it looks, and what color it is, and the sizes and the fonts and things like that, and other functionality included as needed. So I think a lot of our discussion today will probably be kind of like answering some of the initial questions, I'd imagine, about how to choose a theme and what providers to work with, or what theme frameworks and theme providers all of us recommend or warn against, and things like that. So to keep it brief and pass it around a little bit, I guess I've had extensive experience with a few major theme providers, including Whoo themes, Elegant themes, Mint themes, and a few developers from Theme Forest, the Envato network for themes, and also with the Zerb Foundation framework, which I've recently been working a lot with. So those are the theme providers I've worked with a lot. So maybe we could just pass it around and talk a little bit about what theme developers we've worked with in the past, briefly, I guess. Anybody else have something they've done?
Well, when I get started, I'm going to go into pretty much the only theme I use anymore, which is Headway. And I tried, I used several themes, mostly the free themes out of WordPress when I got started. And ever since I switched to Headway, I've just kind of stuck with them and never really changed on. So I don't know if anybody else has got any favorites or where they go to, what they do, but feel free to chime in.
I usually do like a Bootstrap, some type of framework like the Twitter. If I do, depending on the client's budget, I might grab a Whoo theme and then customize it. But again, when you're dealing with other themes such as like Whoo, they have a ton of hooks and filters that you actually have to customize for the client, and it can be a little bit more difficult.
And me personally, I I do mostly custom themes now. I don't really jump into the Woo themes or iThemes. I have used some iThemes. I've used some Woo themes. I find it easier to actually go to like underscores. It's underscores.me, where it essentially gives you a clean framework of core functionality you need. It kind of sets up your theme for you with no styling or anything, and I build off there. But if I do, I'll go with typically elegant themes. I've got a subscription to them. I really like their themes. I'm not a huge fan of the themes you find on like Code Canyon or Theme Forest, just because there's so many different developers around that they do so many different types of things. I find myself doing a lot more work on those themes than just building my own.
Dylan, any thoughts? Or are we gonna run back to Kyle?
Yeah. For myself, I was going to say, I was going to do a little demo, maybe different from the others in the group, but I was going to do a little demo on how to take a free theme you maybe found on WordPress.org and that's as close as possible that you can find to something that you want or your client wants, and then to tweak that just with your own style sheet using a child theme to customize it, the way you want. I don't have a lot of experience compared to some of the other folks on the panel with Elegant Themes, Woo Themes, Code Canyon, a few of the others. So I'll defer to you guys on that. But I'd be happy to cover just that very basic thing of picking out something that's as close as you can find to what you want and just customizing it just a little bit for my portion.
Well, Kyle, you want to keep running with it, or?
Yeah. Let's keep the conversation going and stuff, and then Kellen can do a demo here too. That'd be good. That's funny that you good that you brought that up, Kellen, too, because that's like another source that quite frankly I rarely use and totally like forget about, but is like the WordPress.org theme repository. I do actually believe it's a great resource, and there are a lot of great themes on there, but I rarely use them, and mostly for similar reasons. So I rarely use themes from major marketplaces like Theme Forest because I really don't know what I'm going to get when I dive in to customize it, because I really am never doing a project. I'm never doing a project that I don't have to customize. Nobody is hiring me, or I'm not doing the projects that require only basic tweaks. I'm only doing projects that require really significant customization. And as such, I really am drawn towards developer-friendly themes and frameworks that really allow me to learn and understand the logic behind the code and the infrastructure put in place by the theme developer, and customize it easily and extend it quickly. So as such, I'm really not interested in learning everything all over again from like a new theme developer off of the repository or off of Theme Forest, because everybody does it differently. Every theme is coded in such a totally different way. And so it seems that over time most people kind of like drift towards using like the same frameworks more often, just because you learn how to use it. So I don't know if that's everybody else's experience, or you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, that's exactly why I stick with the one I use, and that's just I can completely customize everything, and I don't have to relearn how to do each aspect of it, because everything does have its own aspects that change with each thing. Whether drop-down menus need to be put in, or whether they're automatically installed, or whatever it is, what plugins are going to do with that particular thing. And so I know what I'm getting with when I work with the same theme every time. And even if it means, a client says, I want to use this theme or something similar to this, I can usually go in and rather easily, or a lot more easily, recreate that look and feel rather than trying to go in and either child theme or go into the theme files and try to change that out.
Yeah, I think one of the things you guys are hitting on that's key, I think that is worth mentioning, is it's all dependent on the project, right? If I'm the independent blogger who wants something to get me 90% there, but then be able to tweak it and customize it a little bit, kind of some of the things I'll show in my demo. Probably one of those, elegant themes, etc. It's really not aesthetically, pleasing, looks really nice, and it's going to get me 90% there, and I just need to tweak it a little bit. That is a great option, right? For some of the more heavy lifting, really custom work that you guys are talking about, using something like underscores where it's very bare bones, but allows you a lot of freedom and no technical, cruft or whatever, no learning curve, or no undoing thing that some other developer already did, is probably the ideal way to go. All dependent on that, I would say.
For me, a lot of it is I don't style much at all. I am not a CSS person. I don't do it. I'm not a designer. So I like some of the themes that are on like Code Canyon or Theme Forest, but I try to stick away from the WordPress themes that are on there. I actually go get like flat HTML themes, take those and port them over to WordPress. I find that a lot easier than trying to utilize someone else's theme, because then I can throw in my own styling, own code style inside of that theme if I develop it just from their HTML, CSS. But then, I also have some plugins that I like to use for that. They're not really plugins; they're additions to my theme. There's like a control panel. It's kind of like the Whoo themes panel, where my clients can set their own options for very specific things. That's in the admin, and that's actually something I got off Code Canyon.
I really like that idea, Brian. Actually, I think that's like really super cool, because that's because my problem with the theme forest themes is definitely not with the design. Usually, I'm not a design guy. I really don't. I shouldn't say I totally don't, but for the most part, I don't care that much about design. It doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not really good at making anything look even at all good.
Yeah.
Terrible at that. But I do care a lot about how it operates and how easy it is for me to tweak it and adjust it and do what my clients ask of me. And so taking someone else's design concept that's just like a flat HTML or PSD or something and turning it into a WordPress theme, to me, it sounds more attractive than taking somebody else's fully developed WordPress theme if they've, most likely, in most cases, that would be the more appealing track for me. Because there's so many ways that people can accomplish the same thing in a theme. You may get one theme that's like everything's put together in widgets, or just all these maybe reliance on third-party plugins. I've downloaded Theme Forest themes that require 11 other plugins to be downloaded and installed to go with it, and that just bugs me. And I don't want to have to buy all these other plugins that I can't make it look like the theme demo at all unless I purchase all these other plugins or configure them, and then this repeat of this whole issue of all these other people's code, and some of it is good, but a lot of it's not. So I really love kind of making it my own way so that I understand it and I can tweak it. So that's really cool.
That is a great idea, Brian. I think I might actually have to steal that from you. You mentioned it actually last week at our meetup, so I'm definitely going to be stealing some HTML.
That is a good idea.
I work with some great graphic designers, so they just give me the Photoshop files and they say, I go through the functionality. What do you want this to do? If you hover this, and then from there I'm able to do it. But I'm just like you guys. The client comes to me and says, I want slider, I want this. Oh yeah, I can make it functional. I can make it do the responsive. I can make it do what you want to do. I'm not going to make it look pretty. That's just not what I do.
I mean, if I can style everything only with Bootstrap, I'm good.
I mean, there's fun, cool stuff I love doing with CSS, actually. I like working with it. But I'm jealous of you, Nate, because you got a good graphic designer. I wish I had a cool designer behind me coming up with stuff. And then I could just, work some CSS magic to make it play and make it responsive and make it animate or do whatever.
Yeah.
That's fun to me. But I have no creativity.
I mean, it's taken a while for our graphic designers. I mean, our company is old. From 1949, we started out at. So, I mean, it's slowly getting into basically online digital. So, I mean, these designers, they're new, they're fresh to it, and they're open to ideas. I mean, they've just started doing more responsive design work in the last year and a half. And the stuff that they do is just phenomenal.
I think like that's another good topic actually, and I'd love to maybe pass that around a little bit. But I think that design trends is kind of important. And so you're going to go out looking around for themes. You're going to look at all these theme shops out there that develop themes, and if you go and kind of look through their timelines, like you pull up Whoo or Elegant or something like that, and you pull up their recent themes, and you start going page by page through their older themes, you're going to start to see, for most of these theme providers, all the trends that we've been experiencing recently in web design.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think that that's like an important factor in the theme discussion is modern designs, stuff that can be mobile friendly, stuff that looks like it was maybe built in 2014 and not 2010. So I think that's an issue. And I think some theme providers do a better job of that than others. And if you're going to consistently work with the same theme developers, a factor is, how good are they at keeping up, with trends, keeping up with what looks fresh, what your clients are going to consistently be requesting and looking for, and least likely to have to be rebuilt in a year,
I think that's a great point, Kyle. The thing, is that I've started noticing, we see these trends, and then everybody's copying everybody. Oh, it's got to be a slider. You got to have this menu this way. The responsive image is this disappears and does this. But if no one's really kind of being unique in it, I haven't seen a lot of that yet. It's just slowly everybody's following, what everybody else is doing.
Well, there's an argument to be made for that being kind of useful in that, with the user experience, user interaction, do the users really want to go in and try to figure out how to utilize your website? And would it be a lot simpler for them for the format to be in general, the same, so that if they go to website 1 and website 2, they're not like looking for, we put the navigation bar either at the top or on the left, and that's general places, because that's where people are going to look for that stuff. And if somebody throws some, the navigation down in the footer, we're going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I can't even find a way to get around, and boom, I'm out. I'm backed out, and so there's user interface or user experience involved in that. That I think a lot of that is why we kind of stick. I try to stick with what's working now and what's popular now, not just because I want to keep up with the Joneses, but because it's important for me to make sure that my users have a cross-round experience that they can walk in and say, okay, I know how to use this site. There's nothing crazy about it that I've got to figure out.
Right, and I'm not saying go totally off the radar. You put the footer at the menu in the footer. You go crazy with it. All I'm suggesting is not every site has to have a slider. Not every site has to have the about, the contact, all on at the top. Be dynamic. Be a little bit different. I mean, don't go crazy. But be unique. There's different ways that you can get your brand, across for a better user experience.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. Yoast is doing his own thing now, and he absolutely refused to put sliders in any of them.
Yeah, he was vocal about that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I mean, he's pulling statistics and saying only about 1% click on sliders, and hey, I mean, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. Personally, I think there's a time and a place for sliders, but it depends. But it's not for every site. There's really no point for us to put one up on this website. So, Yeah, no, the site definitely needs to be involved around the product or the service or whatever you're trying to sell or provide or however, and get that content or marketing strategy implemented more than, right, you're right, being generic and following the path of whoever's going next or whoever's leading the way.
Wait, you're saying we can't have a slider on our website?
No, not at all.
Oh.
You want a slider, Kyle?
No, I don't actually.
We can put a slider with your face and then Kellen's face, and then we'll just skip right over mine, and we'll put a puppy dog in my place. And
Beautiful. I have maybe one thing to add. I've heard recently on a lot of like WordPress, podcasts and things like that. Is to me the issue of how much bloat there is in themes comes down to a training issue on the part of whoever's purchasing the theme. Like I've heard that a lot of theme authors that sell on Code Canyon and things like that, they know that a lot of the folks buying those are the independent bloggers or small business owners who are really trying to working on the shoestring budget, trying to put something together themselves, right? So if they see a theme for one price that looks pretty simplistic, it presents the content really well. Looks like it does the basic functionality well, but they see another one that says bundled with eight sliders and a million different plugins and different things. They'll think my money is going further, right? I am getting more for my $50, $100, whatever it may be. If I choose this one with a million different options, right? Because then if I happen to want some of those options down the road, I won't be spending extra since it looks like they're bundled with this theme, right? So kind of, I think it creates this scenario of keeping up with the Joneses, where if you have to make your theme look like it does everything under the sun in terms of providing features, so that those folks end up buying yours. But then the more you learn about WordPress and some of the folks on this panel for sure, I would say, right, that's the last thing we would do is buy something with that much bloat in it, because we think that all that functionality should really belongs in plugins, right? And on an as-needed basis, you get some plugins that does that one thing really well, and they should be added that way. And the theme should be, lightweight and bare bones as it can be, but just focus on the presentation. So I think the education level makes all the difference to me. If you're that user thinking you're getting more for your money versus the developer who's kind of been around the block and wants the theme to do, the presentation, what it's supposed to do, and do it really well, that kind of thing.
So what's your feeling and opinion on a theme that's being developed for a client that you require, plugin X, Y, and Z to be installed as well, like advanced custom fields or?
I knew you were going to bring this up.
Yeah, it's a question that I always have.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, at what point do you insert those plugins just into your theme so they don't have to be installed secondarily?
Right. Yeah. I guess I don't have an issue with that if it's if the theme really needs those to even function. Then at least they're bundling them separately, even though they're required to install them, so to speak. That's better than fusing them into the theme itself, I guess, without any option to even not install them.
And there's
good question.
There's ways that you can just include, depending on how complex it is. Like, I know, Brian, you mentioned ACF. You can actually just put that within the functions PHP and then just kind of run with it from there, as well as custom post types. So I mean, it becomes the chicken or the egg. Which one do you really want to focus on?
Yeah, I think a big challenge for theme. It's a challenge for theme developers because there's a huge market for these themes and these functional themes, and they're the ones that sell and stuff. But you want to make a theme that helps people get as close as possible to the design that they want and the site that they want. And so there's this always a never-ending discussion. Like, there's no definitive line that's very clear that anybody can agree on. Like, where does this functionality go? In the theme or in a plugin? And do we require it or what? I think it would be a great topic for a future discussion for us. You know, but it's a really good discussion to talk about where the functionality goes, plugin or theme. And I tend to think that there's a really good argument for keeping anything design-related theme in the theme, and anything not strictly design-specific in a plugin. Typically, you know, that's how I feel. And then the challenge on the theme developer side is making themes that, if they do require plugins, they need to degrade nicely and still function if the plugin isn't present. So some people are pretty good at that, and others not so much.
Well, my take on that whole including functionality in the theme, and I'm going to be kind of a little bit, I don't know, maybe hypocritical here, but my personal opinion is if I need that functionality, most of the time I can just get it from plugin. My concern with trying to incorporate it into a theme afterwards, especially, but even before, is there's always so many chances that that particular functionality can create a problem, and I can't just go through and deactivate, you know, step number one, deactivate plugins if there's an issue, and go through and figure out if one of those is the issue. And that's one of the reasons I personally try to keep as little off of the theme side and as much on the plugin side as possible. But as soon as I get into headway, I'm kind of going to be contradicting myself a little bit.
And I think it's probably worth mentioning the rule of thumb that you'll hear in the WordPress community along the having to do with the theme versus plugin debate, and that is if the user or the client changes their theme, will their site stop working? You know, if the answer is yes, then you've done something wrong. You put something in the theme that really probably should have gone in a plugin if it breaks their whole site. You know, they should theoretically be able to switch from one theme to the other, and all the basic functionality of the site is maintained, right?
But I have a question to that, though. If you're getting paid to basically create a theme for a client, you're not looking down 5 years down the road when they want to switch. You're building it for it now, the functionality. So, I mean, I see your point, but you're not paying me for another product. You know, when you go to another developer, you're paying me for this here right now to make this happen for your users, your clients, your customers when they come to your site to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And most of the time, that's the case. I mean, that's the service that we typically provide, and that's what the clients care about is design. They want it to look good. And,
right.
The majority of my clients, don't care about the rest of it. And switching themes means I'm either rebuilding the site or they, said I'm going with another developer, and then it's a different issue for the most part. I mean, I still tend to agree that changing themes and likewise also activating and deactivating, more so deactivating plugins, things like that should not break the site. It should not cause the site to function, or so any critical functionality shouldn't be lost or obstructed in any way. That's just being good at what we do, I guess. And yeah, so but definitely good points.
Yeah. It comes down to if you're developing a theme for a client or that you're getting paid for, or you're developing the theme that you want to sell, I think.
Yeah.
Word.
Okay, so anybody want to kick off on what themes that they're using and what they what they're looking for when they're going through and searching through themes, or where you're purchasing themes, getting your themes from? I know a couple people mentioned IThemes or a couple other places. Anybody want to cover those, or?
Kyle.
Kyle,
we nominate you.
Wait. What was the question?
Where do you buy themes? Show us. Tell us.
Oh man. I have a subscription for Whoo, and I've always really kind of liked Whoo for for a number of reasons. I also have a subscription with Elegant Themes and Mint Themes, and licenses for a whole lot of ThemeForest themes, and I don't even know what else. But I really like. I've always kind of liked Whoo, and I always kind of thought that they did a pretty decent job of keeping up with like the trends and design stuff that just appeals to me. Things that are pretty simplistic, really mobile friendly, especially their more recent stuff. You know, and also the fact that a lot of my projects involve WooCommerce. We're doing e-commerce a lot, and WooCommerce is my go-to e-commerce solution, and so naturally a Woo theme is like a great fit for that because they integrate very well. A lot of other themes out there do support WooCommerce pretty darn well as well, but all the Woo themes ones support it, and that matters to me. So if you're you're planning a project that requires big plugins like that, like WooCommerce or something else, your project has an e-commerce requirement, then that has a significant impact on your choice for a theme as well. So I don't know what experience you guys have had with other things like that, where your plugin or your feature requirements for the project kind of steer you towards a theme choice. But that would be like the biggest one for me, is something e-commerce related often steers me towards Woo. Not exclusively, but often.
All right, sounds good.
That was a question.
So
That's it.
Your question sounded really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep going. Okay. You guys never had that experience? Okay.
I've never used Woo themes.
Okay. Yeah, they're good. I've used the Elegant Themes a lot too. I don't like working with them quite as much. I don't think that. I don't know. Personally, I think their designs are not as maybe modern. Like, seems like they're just a little bit behind a lot of people. More like gradients and round edges and Web 2.0 look. You know, that kind of stuff looks a little outdated to me. Although realistically, it's really attractive to a lot of my clients and other colleagues who I think are not very progressive as well. And usually my clients are attracted to last year or the year before's design trends. But, you know, what can you say? So I guess I'd be curious to get insight from everybody else on like what theme providers out there you think do a pretty good job at consistently providing really nice designs, and consistently keeping up with the trends and providing really modern designs. Just like if we're talking about the visuals, you know, what theme shops always look good?
I'll go. I have to go with, you know, Kyle on Woo themes. I mean, their design element, it's one of those, all I need to do is just replace it with images, boom, you're good to go. You know, the functionality, more or less, they've gotten more responsive on their themes, so it's easy to work with. Functionality with the plugins that they utilize, it's easy to do. I've never messed with their commerce section, but just their overall basic themes, it's very design worthy, I guess.
So I can go the opposite way of those. I utilize Woo themes just because they're there. But I'm not a fan of Woo themes because they do so many of their own hooks and filters that it's just, you have to learn essentially not only WordPress core, you have to learn Woo themes core, you have to learn all their quirks they have, and then kind of on the e-commerce side, I started a website project building my own theme and trying to integrate WooCommerce, and it was a nightmare. Just trying to integrate it into something that you built on your own, just trying to get everything wired up to work correctly. It never worked the way it was supposed to. So I actually switched to Shop, where, you know, Shop works with basically every theme available. It's
And it's free now.
yeah, and it's free now. It's shopplugin dot com, I think.
Yeah.
When you guys look that up.
Yeah. .net.
.net. Shopplugin.net. shopplugin.net. So I mean, I've really enjoyed working with that. Not only is the developer of it local here, hour and a half away from me, so I know him personally just from meeting him at WordCamps and such. So I got that support. But other than that, I still like building my own themes. I'll utilize a framework like the underscores. It makes it a lot easier for me because I know exactly what's up, what's there. And just switching back and forth between developers, there's so many different quirks that you have to get used to. People have their own way of developing stuff.
I have to agree with you, Brian. I mean, WooThemes, it's great for clients that maybe not have a big budget, but you're absolutely right. If they want detailed customization, it is extremely difficult and time-consuming. It is. You have to learn where their functions are, where the folders, their file structure. Can suck up your day quickly.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to WooThemes tries to make their themes do everything and not focus on one specific part of a theme.
But then it goes back to the previous discussion. It's all-encompassing. It's get this theme, and it does everything, and it does. And for some of our clients, here you go, fresh install.
Oh yeah.
We're going to do graphic designs, and we're good to go.
Yep.
Pretty much.
It comes down to personal preference, really. I mean,
yeah.
WooCommerce may be the go-to for, 3 of us here, and the other 2 of us might run from them.
Did you have someone else that you typically go to, Nathan?
I mean, no. It's usually if we do some type of standard theme, it's usually, I want to say 99% of the time, it's Whoo. Only because I know their support. Again, I've never messed with the e-commerce side, but anything that I've had issues with, where it's just after a couple hours of digging through their code, going, I can't do this, they usually get back to me within 24 hours and go, here's what you need to do, and step-by-step play. So, again, like Brian said, it comes back to personal preference. I would like to check out elegant themes. IThemes, I use Backup Buddy, so I really want to kind of support them a little bit. But Whoo is just, one-click install pretty much, and good to go.
Yeah, I've been starting to look at IThemes, their builder theme, see what that's all about. I haven't really had much time to dig deep into it, but it looks promising for a nice framework on a true platform.
Yeah. I've had to play around with IThemes Builder a couple times, and I didn't really become an expert at it, but I played around with it a few times, and I didn't feel like it really gave me total control that it was kind of sold as. All right. Well, if we're good on that one, I'm going to do a quick screen share and cover Headway real quick. And I promised this last week, even though we've turned into a conversation about everything. Headway's my go-to theme for everything now. And so here we are in just our dashboard, and we just click on the visual editor there. I've already got loaded up. What you can see is it starts with absolutely nothing on the page, and this is demo.wproundtable.com, and quite literally drag and drop exactly what you want where you want it. default behavior. So I've created 3 blocks here, you know, a header, navigation, and a content block. And let's save that. Shoot. And we've got our header, our navigation, which we haven't included anything on this demo site, and again, no content because there's no content on what we've done yet, but you can come in and select, just drag and drop anything and decide what it's going to be. So it's to be footer. There we go. It comes built in with, just pull another one up here. Random blocks here. So it comes in with header, navigation, breadcrumbs, content. You can have sliders, widget areas. That probably wasn't a great idea. Just throw a widget area here. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to cover responsive. You do have to enable responsive out of the box. It comes with responsive video resizing. And it's from the ground up. If you want any other pages, you select a new page. I don't have any custom pages yet, but I'll do the 404 layout just because it's there. And it automatically gives me the opportunity to clone other pages. So I can customize, I can start here and then say, I want this page to be exactly like the other one, except I want to get rid of the widget area. And we've got a completely custom page for that without having to go in and customize it with each page from scratch again. I'm not going to save that, go back here, try to keep this under a few minutes and go into more detail on my post this week. But so that's what they call the grid mode. And basically, essentially just dragging and dropping blocks, clicking what's in them. The content block, and I'm going to go back and, like I said, I was going to contradict myself a little bit. Oh. Contradict myself a little bit by one of the really great things I love about this is it really lets me control the loop. So if I put in a custom query here, I can go into query filters and I can customize by author, by post type. I can include or exclude by categories. I can select a page to fetch. I can have multiple contents in here on my, for example, on my page within WP Roundtable, I've got 2 content blocks. One for a small one for the page content, and then an independent one for my blogs or my blog posts. So all of my content that's on the main page, and just custom query, custom filter, go by author, and I can pick anybody here. So I'm not. We'll save this. And I've used Loop Buddy in the past to do that, to control the loop, and I just find that, like I said, I'm contradicting myself because I do really like having that right in the theme. And then here, this is the editing page, or this design page, and you can choose to color, background colors, image colors, text colors. You can put in images, hyperlinks. You can customize anything. You go down to, you can do states, instances, specific pages, and custom CSS code goes right there, and it does a live CSS editor, so anything you put in just automatically shows up. And sometimes it needs a refresh, but normally it goes live immediately. And again, you can right-click, edit this instance. Let's say I wanted to change just that and edit this instance. It brings me straight to my site title where I can change my fonts, color, red, and you can see it right there live. I've got it red. So that's one of the things I really like about this, and it does take some getting used to, so this is probably not something I'd recommend for somebody using this only going to do one blog, or only intends to do one blog in their life. But if you're going to be using doing multiple blogs or different websites, the ability to kind of fill and flow in here and customize quickly, I think this is a great option for a lot of people. Any thoughts before I kill this screen share?
Can you show the responsiveness on it?
Yes. Okay, let me cover that real quick. In here, let me go back to this. Didn't really go into that very well other than saying it existed. But within here, there's, depending on what you're working with, there are various control modes. So I can have a breakoff point of X amount of pixels.
Oh, wow.
Let's just go with iPhone 5 landscape. That's going to be my breakoff point. And I'm actually just going to set that legacy to iPhone. There we go, portrait. So this widget should disappear as it shrinks up. Oh, I'm going to have to refresh it before it'll do that. Okay. And so now we're in what would essentially be a landscape mode of iPad or other tablet, and blocks can either change your shape, change your form, or just disappear entirely. And you see, like, the menu item is now a drop-down menu. I don't have any other pages there to demonstrate, but and that's about it. I mean, any other thoughts on that? Questions?
I have one question on it. For the custom CSS, if you say that in the custom CSS you want your header a certain color, then does it change, that color picker where you're showing you change the title red? Would that change to red then if I put that in the custom CSS, or no? It wouldn't update it like that.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does one affect the other? I mean,
the custom CSS generally overrides the design feature. So.
Gotcha. All right.
Because I never go in and put custom CSS for anything that's right here. I just right-click and edit this instance. But when certain things I have used custom CSS for, I don't know. On WP Roundtable we have the footer is locked into the bottom. That's custom CSS I had to do. For the, let me just open that up. See what we've got on the website itself instead of the demo site. And there's very little custom CSS on WP Roundtable right now. One forewarning on this: if you are using Cloudflare, I'm going to turn off my screen share for just 1 second. Because I got to log in there. This will not load if you do have to go into maintenance mode in order to use this, or development mode, I'm sorry, in order to use Headway if you're using Cloudflare. Oh, does that make sense?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, my question was answered. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to pull that up, but I did the Cloudflare issue. The Cloudflare issue makes sense. I can't go into the design. I can't go into the theme if I've got Cloudflare engaged. I have to go into design mode within Cloudflare in order to be able to really utilize the back end here with the theme. And that's just a heads up if anybody's using it and having that problem. Be forewarned. So yeah, we've only got these three we've got a text-align justified and then 2 other custom CSS in here, but none of this is using custom CSS, but I'm pretty sure if we were to go in there, the custom CSS would override it. Of course, then you'd still have to go in and mess with your states and your instances and whatnot, so the hover, it could be done. I just find it too easy to open that and start messing with it. I mean, one of the reasons I like using this is so that I can avoid using a lot of CSS. And the other thing really I like about it is it's got a ton of support back there. When I first started doing multi-language websites and integrating WPML, WordPress multi-language, there was an issue there at some point, and they jumped right on it, got on the phone with WPML, and they almost immediately had responses, and the problems were figured out. And having that kind of support, they're constantly updating, and I've never had anything break due to an upgrade. So that's one of the things that's important to me.
How long has this been around, this visual editor?
The program, as far as the theme itself?
Right, yeah. Because this is part of Headway itself?
Yeah, that's all Headway.
Oh, okay.
Headway used to have 3 different options. It was a grid design, and something else, but they combined them into just 2. But yeah, this is all Headway. Headway's been around for, I have no idea. I've been using them for a couple years now.
It's slick. I've never seen it. It's slick.
Yeah, it's really sophisticated, Jason. I really like it. It reminds me of, there's a couple others out there that are like have like similar selling features like this, like the visual aspect. I think
Right.
I don't know that they're all quite so advanced. I've only used IThemes Builder a little, and that wasn't very recently. But I think that's like more of like a back-end layout thing that you adjust. And then page lines is pretty cool. I've used that on a project before, and that has some really cool features. I don't know if anybody else has used page lines. And also, I haven't used it, but I've really wanted to. I just never had a justification for purchasing it. But Carrington Build, anybody ever used that before?
What's the name again?
Carrington Build. It's from Crowd Favorite. And they're like a really old WordPress agency. You guys know who Crowd Favorite is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And they've been doing this a long time. Alex King, the founder, was like one of the early guys in WordPress. Started doing this, a long time ago, and they're a very reputable company. I think they just merged with. I shouldn't even say it if I get it wrong. But I think it was like Mellow Media or something. Totally off topic. Sorry, I keep doing that.
Yeah.
You can hear about this afterward. Mute me. Just mute me, or I'll go all over the place. But anyway, the Crowd Favorite's got a product called Carrington Build that's kind of like a layout site visual builder that it looks pretty sophisticated, and I wanted to get a chance to try it out, but I never have.
Well, I'll tell you what. Take a little run around the back end of WP Roundtable and play with it a little bit, or the demo. I think everybody's got an account on the demo site as well. Play with it. Tell me what you think. I'd be interested to hear.
Can we throw in our own CSS? Yeah.
Yeah, I told you guys. Go ahead and modify your own pages. Do whatever you want to do. What do you do when you stick 5 people that all know what they're doing in one room? You just let them go at it. See what comes out.
This is gonna be fun.
Play with it. And if you want to get into the demo site, I think I sent you everybody an account except for Nathan and Brian, who are obviously new. But feel free to go in there, mess with it, break it if you want. I don't care.
Cool. We're nearing an hour, I think. Do we want to save child themes for another day?
That's up to you, man. I didn't mean to go on that long. I don't know how long I went on.
No, that's fine.
I think we could have a whole episode about child themes.
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We can cut it short.
I just had like a bid. I don't know if I didn't finish the bid today, but just a client sent over a thing and asked, we want you to. We've got our phone number on our website, and we need it to not be an image. We need it to be text, but still look the same. Can you figure out how much it would cost to fix that? And I went in, and first thing I see is not using a child theme. Come on, it's very, very bad. It's all customized like crazy, and so I came back and I was like, sure, I could do this stupid phone number thing, but I've got bigger problems. So do something about that.
I've got all sorts of nightmares for you about not using child themes and just modifying the 2012.
Not 2012.
That's what you
Well, it's not anymore.
All right.
All right, we're wrapped up.
Any closers?
Watch the next episode, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all come back now.
Here.
Bye.